Okay, sound check, sound check. Good evening, everybody. This is Steve at Little Treasury Jewelers. I hope I'm coming through loud and clear. We've been off the air for quite a bit now. A couple of reasons. Had some technical difficulties. My sound system went up, and we've put in a workaround, so hopefully you're hearing me okay. And we are also have been extremely busy here in the store. We have the showroom open again after being closed for about 6 weeks in early June, and looks like there's been a bit of pent-up demand and for repairs, for people wanting to come in and see the collections. So we've been pretty wall-to-wall busy. So we've made a little time to have this special event this afternoon. And I've invited a good friend, VJ Geronimo, who's the CEO of Oris USA, to join us. We've been Oris dealers for about 2 years and a couple of months. We have a shop in shop. We usually carry about 50 pieces, so we're quite an active dealer, and we enjoy our relationship with them very much. I would say that the company is extremely independent. It's independently owned, and it has. Here's our man. Okay, I think we're just getting VJ aboard, and I'm going to get him on the screen. Let me go ahead and do that. And hi, how are you?
Good, Steve. How about yourself?
Okay, you can hear me okay?
Yes, can you hear me?
I do. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks for
Uh, it,
having me.
it looks like you're having a casual afternoon. Where are you working nowadays?
I am in Connecticut, so I live in Connecticut. Our office is in Connecticut. Shifting time between home and the office. Back in the office for the most part, but I'm home this afternoon, so
Okay,
just working on a few things.
great. So how long were you folks out of office? Looks like Connecticut's gotten its numbers back under control, and but
Yeah, we were out since let's see, our last day in the office was Friday, March 13th, if I recall correctly, and we've been back now probably for about 3.5 weeks. We've been
okay.
back in, but we're a really small office, so and people can socially distance very easily, and not everybody's back, so just trying to bring people back um, as necessary.
Okay.
Obviously, we can't ship things from home, so that kind of stuff. But other things that can
Hmm.
be done, we're trying to do from that perspective. So
So, what about Switzerland? Has Was production interrupted for a period? And if so, back
yeah,
aboard, or what's going on?
yeah. So Switzerland's a little bit ahead of us, I think, in terms of just getting back to normal. Things went back or going back to normal there.
Hmm.
Like most, we did shut down our production for a period of time to kind of because because it had to be done,
Hmm.
and then people kind of were working on a part-time basis on a very low basis, and now it's ramping back up and
Hmm.
things are back in. I think life there too is a little bit more back to normal. I think kids went back to school a little while back,
Hmm.
so things are getting going. But it's as with anything, it's business is things are ramping up. People are trying to
Hmm.
get back to normal, but everything is following. But
Sure.
some things are there, some things aren't. So
So and I'll catch up with you folks in the chat in a minute. I just want to go over another aspect here. So every year since we started, or actually for several years before we brought you aboard, I was used to meeting with you folks in Basel at Basel World every April, or should have been May this year. And I've always felt that Oris punches above its weight. You've always had your pavilion in Hall 1, the large, prestigious hall, three-story edifice, very elaborate, well done. And so I guess everything went kablooey, and we didn't have our 20-some meetings we're used to. We didn't meet with you folks. So obviously it must have really changed a lot of the strategies, at least for the near term. Is there anything you want to share about that with us?
Sure. I think, yeah, I mean, as you can all imagine, and as most people have been affected by the kind of the Basel going away. I mean, it was certainly it's a sad thing, actually. It was a sort of a celebration of the industry. It was a place for people to see a lot of different things, obviously watch manufacturers, but all things to do with watches. It was kind of the show place by which the industry got together. And, I think now it's with what has happened with some of the brands pulling out, some of the larger brands, obviously Rolex, Patek pulling out of it. It's done. So it's definitely, with COVID, obviously it changed strategy just with it being canceled, and then also there's the longer term of it not ever happening again. So our strategy has changed in terms of how we're delivering things. With the current situation, we've been doing a lot of things virtually. We've been doing a lot of virtual meetings, much like this. We did our first virtual launch with the Momotaro back at the end of April. So that was new for us. So yeah, it's definitely changed. And as far as the future of it, we have a few options on the table, and it's a matter of kind of evaluating those options and seeing what makes sense. Does it make sense to do this big elaborate thing anymore? Does it make sense to go to Geneva with the rest of the brands? Does it make sense to do things locally? So we're still evaluating those things. But,
right.
Yeah.
Well, Oris has always been famous for its very social posture. You've thrown some of the best parties. In Basel, I remember on the boat on the on the river, and things you've done out in Las Vegas. So we hope you can at least get back in the swing with some of your excellent participation events for dealers and for end user customers. So let me just catch up a minute with the chat here.
Sure.
We've got about 16 folks aboard, and I see John Grubb, a good friend, is on. Eduardo, hi, Triforce, and Steve the Great is live. I always like your comments. Keep it up. And Craig says my sound is good. And Stig from Denmark, we're getting through to him as well. And hello, Williams Watches and Blue. And Blue has a question: will Oris make more jazz watches? We might as well get that on the table.
Yeah, we actually had two this year. So if you hadn't seen them, one of them being the Art Blakey, and one of them being the James Morrison, which is a blue dial. I actually happen to have the Art Blakey here with me. If you can, I don't know if you can, how well you can see that piece.
That's pretty good. It's a really nice minimalistic piece. Looks 40s to me or thereabouts.
Yep.
Take a look.
38. Yep. And as with all of our jazz pieces, while we try to pay tribute to the artist, we also try to do it in a subtle way and make some subtle design cues towards the artist. So Art Blakey was a drummer, and if you can see the top of that watch, there's the outline of a snare drum. If you can kind of catch that in a very subtle way.
Yeah, it's not in great focus, but you can make out what the idea is. Probably if you put it in front of your face, if your camera focuses on faces, it's fine. I have the other watch here, and I have it queued up, so I'm going to show that. Hang on. There we go. Very pretty. The Morrison watch, the blue dial. So we have that here in stock. So, but the question was, are you going to make more?
Yeah, I think we've made them for a long period of time, since the early '90s. We've made them. So we will continue to do so. It's always a nice project for us to work on the jazz pieces. We certainly have a nice following of people that really admire and like them, and it's a beautiful. They're usually nice, beautiful works of art. So very happy with the two this year, and yes, there'll definitely be more in the future.
Okay, great. But no hints of what's coming up, right?
No,
Okay.
not yet.
Okay, yeah. This guy's keeps it close to the vest. I have to tell you that. That's a good thing, though. All right. So let's see what else. I see Kyle's in from California. How are you doing? And so Eduardo asks, what does the big boss man have on his wrist? I suppose that question goes to VJ. What are you wearing?
Um, I'm wearing the Carl Bashir. Not that I'm the
Uh,
big boss man, but I'm wearing the
okay,
Carl Bashir. So
okay, and that's
that's the
a bronze three hand, right? That's the early first
bronze
one.
three. That's the original one from
Okay.
2016. Yep.
Uh-huh.
So been much talk about patina, especially with one of the releases we just did earlier this week. But this is my watch I've had since 2016. I have not any way treated it or anything like that. So that's the patina
Mm-hmm.
from the time period, if you can see it. So it's worn nicely.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. So it's funny. I started the year. I'm very superstitious about my watch. And I started the year off, and if the year is going well, I keep my watch. I usually wear it for the year.
Uh-huh.
So this year I started off with one of the pro pilots, and
Uh,
needless to say, the year hasn't been so. It wasn't so good.
so
So uh,
you repiloted, right?
I changed up to Carbashir, who's and his motto was, "It's not a sin to get knocked down; it's a sin to stay down." So
Right.
thought
Okay.
that appropriate for the pandemic here. So
So I'm going to bring up which Pro Pilot did you have on your wrist? I have the Power Reserve up here with a blue dial, just so everybody can see. Were you wearing
you
one of these?
you have the 111. Is that
Yeah,
what
the
you're
111.
referring to? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
showing that. Was that the one you were wearing?
no, I was actually wearing the new design of the date. So the Pro Pilot date
Uh huh.
with the this one is 41 millimeters. It
Right.
has a green Ventile strap, which is a fabric that's water resistant but also breathable, um, over leather, and then it had the newly designed Pro Pilot clasp.
Uh huh.
If you've seen that, so it's a little bit easier to use than the older one,
Right.
but they're beautiful pieces. So
Yeah, indeed. So the one I'm showing, I think, is 43 millimeters. What movement is that? The 110 in there, or
that's the caliber 111.
one
So that
111?
has it has the date. It's a manual wind 10-day power reserve on a single barrel mainspring. It has a
Mm-hmm.
non-linear power reserve indicator. So that's the piece that
So
you're seeing.
yeah,
Yep,
I'm showing the that movement with a huge barrel. Nice piece.
beautiful.
So okay, let's move on and see if there are any other questions. And Wags is in, and hi, how are you? Haven't talked to you in a while. And let's see, I've got a number of people. Jeepu's in the house. Hi. And Kyle asks if it's true that I own a Bernese Mountain Dog. Uh, actually, I don't own a Swiss dog. Bernese Mountains, I think, are in Switzerland, right? I own a
Yeah,
Japanese dog. Sorry. I have a Shiba Inu, and I'll do a show on her one of these days. She's a trip. So, 20-pound dog, big difference. Never going to rescue you from anywhere. So, okay, so Gipu says Oris is a cool brand. He likes the pointer date.
thank you,
And Jonathan Grubb says hi, Steve and VJ. And
Jonathan.
Leon asks, is that a tuning fork on the second
Yes,
hand of the Morrison watch?
yes,
Yes, it is on the counterweight, right?
yes. I
Yeah,
believe it is.
right.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And Jonathan says the Aquas lineup definitely has brought us some incredible pieces that support great causes. Any Aquases in the pipeline?
Yeah, Aquas, thank you for recognizing that, Jonathan. Certainly, the Aquas has been one of the workhorses of the collection. Certainly, a lot of different variations and versions and that sort of thing. For those of you who may not have seen, a couple months ago, we had launched the 41.5 millimeter Aquas. So, we had the 43.5, and then we launched the 39.5, and we had the 36 as well. Then we've also launched the 41 millimeter Aquas recently. Another piece that launched is what Steve is showing now. That is the Lake Baikal limited edition. So that's meant to be an ice blue. Lake Baikal is in Siberia. It holds 20% of the world's drinkable fresh water.
Wow.
One of the largest lakes in the world. And so that color, all of our water conservation pieces have always been done with sort of a warm, softer blue, warmer water blue. This was the answer to the Lake Baikal. It's that cool blue. The dial in person is really something to see. Really have to give it, you really have to see it to do it justice. And then if you turn the watch over and look at the case back, it's modeled after ice. So you kind of see like cracked ice is what you see from that. So
yeah, I got
it's a beautiful piece.
hard to focus on that back. Okay. So, okay, great. Thank you. Let's see. Gipu asks, is bronze more comfortable than steel on the wrist?
Um, it's hard to tell that situation. I would say it's no more, no less comfortable. It doesn't feel heavier really to me. It feels pretty normal, maybe a tiny bit heavier, but it's very comfortable. It wears nice.
Uh-huh.
So certainly.
Is there an issue with bronze on the skin? Now you have a new watch out. Tell us about that. And it's very limited, and I don't have an image handy, but maybe you even have a prototype.
We do. I don't even have one, a prototype. It's the new Hölstein edition. It's our first all bronze chronograph. So it's the entire watch is bronze, from the case to the bracelet all the way through. It's celebrating 116 years of Oris. It's our first what we call boutique only, what most people would say a boutique only limited edition, available through Oris retail channels, be it our e-shop or our boutiques. But what we've done as Oris, which most brands don't do, is we've included our authorized dealers such as Steve to kind of be a part of that. So if you would like to purchase that watch, it's purchased through the website, but you can deliver it to Little Treasury to have that brought to you and done there, sized accordingly if you wish, that sort of thing. So that's how
we get a little tip out of it too. So,
so
that would be helpful if you're thinking about that piece. It's actually quite beautiful, and we're not always happy when manufacturers go off and do that, but hopefully it'll be a limited experience, and we're grateful that we're getting a piece of it. So
and there's also a contest we're running around that watch on Watchanista as well. So for those of you who may have a bronze Oris in some capacity, we're running something called a Patina Diaries, where you can post a picture of your watch and tag Oris, tag Watchanista, and you'll kind of get a chance to be in it. You can also email for also a chance to kind of to win that. So check that out as well. So that's cool.
Good.
Trying to engage everybody.
Okay.
Doing that.
So another question from Triforce Rich. Are Oris watches 100% integrated in Switzerland, or do they import and or manufacture other parts in foreign countries?
Our products are by Swiss standards, by everything. They're Swiss made. So, manufacturing components and things and such, everything is considered, it's considered to be Swiss made. So assembled, that sort of thing. So
okay.
all of our in-house calibers are done, in our in the same sort of using the same micro manufacturers that do other brands as well.
Mm-hmm.
So very much so, very
Okay.
much part of that.
So on that topic, your in-house movements are assembled in-house, or they're in-house designed and sort of bespoke?
In-house designed and some done in our manufacturing facility, but
Mm-hmm.
very much in-house design. And again, very much using the same micro component companies that do other brands that
Mm-hmm.
very much higher end brands as well. We use the same sort of being a cottage industry as
Right.
in Switzerland. So yeah,
Okay. Cool.
like the
Okay.
PPX.
Right. So we're sort of in the middle of a discussion about Florida and Texas and whatever. I'll pass on that. Those are hot spots anyway. No one wants to go there. Let's see. Uh, Jonathan is drooling, hopefully over the watches, but not only virtually drooling. And okay, talking about South Beach, Atlantic, sound of waves. Okay. Kyle Jet. Does Oris take Bitcoin? Asks Craig Boat.
We do not.
Are you thinking about it?
I don't know the answer. I can't say that that's true.
Okay. So Wags likes the watches, and well, they're talking about North Carolina and whatever. Come to Maryland, guys. We have a nice Four Seasons here, and America in the small. We have mountains, water. The housing is expensive, I have to say. Okay, so Jonathan Grubb is loving the Lake Baikal, and Kyle is saying he's glad we have a show from Steve again. This is good. Happy to be back. It's been such a busy time, and plus these few little glitches with the equipment, been tough. Craig's definitely riding herd on me to be out here more frequently, and we enjoy it, and we'll definitely try to do more of it. So, what else can we bring to the fore? Let's want to bring up our Pro Pilot X. Take a look at that. I have one here in stock, and if you all don't remember this, it's the titanium piece that was introduced last year. And whoops, you got it up here right now. And so
Beautiful.
it is a terrific piece, and titanium. And is that the first titanium piece, or are there others in the collection before my time?
We've done other titanium. We've done an Aquis in titanium, a couple other pieces. Not
Yeah.
so much, but yeah, before your time there was some more divers in titanium.
Mm-hmm.
But this one is truly the way that the watch was designed, the way the movement was designed, and the case, like everything was from scratch designed to fit with each other. So
Right.
it wasn't a skeleton. It wasn't a movement that was existing that we skeletonized. It was actually
Mm-hmm.
created as a skeleton movement. And the case was made for the movement. The movement was made for the case. Like
Right.
everything was done that way. Yeah. And honestly, the more time you spend with that watch, the more you
Mm-hmm.
look at it, the more you kind of appreciate it. You really get a feeling for what it is and what it is,
Mm-hmm.
and it truly gives you the true feeling of a mechanical watch when you look at that.
Yeah.
So certainly.
So let me ask you this: is that a one-off, or is that going to be part of a theme that we're going to see continuing in Oris?
I mean, I think that watch was, we've obviously done a lot of things with vintage watches over the past number of years. We were kind of at the forefront of the vintage trend, so to
Mm-hmm.
say, with the original Diver 65 right back in 2015. So that was our answer to like what's next. I think what does
Mm-hmm.
the future hold? Vintage is it's been great. We have a long history of watches and certainly have a lot of archives, but we saw that as, if you had a design for the future, what the future would look like, what would that be? And I think that's really where that piece came from. And, it was also done to show we are a watchmaker, and we've been a watchmaker for 116 years. And for many years, we made all of our own movements, and we made 279 calibers between 1904 and 1982. So we made a lot of watches, and I think that's kind of getting back to those roots and showing who we are, serious watchmaking at reasonable prices. And,
Right.
To answer your question, do you see, a $7,600 Oris being a main staple or being kind of where we're headed? No, we're not going to, it's not that the collection's going to go up that high. That's not the intent. It's more like we can make this piece, and the same value proposition that exists in our $2,000 diver exists in the PPX. It's a watch that punches well above its weight, in terms of what you get for the value and that sort of thing. So that's how we see it.
I certainly hope you continue on that theme. I love the edgy, little aggressive look mixed with pieces like this, which are so traditional, so different, so wearable. This is a 36 millimeter pointer date, big crown pointer date, and so you have something for everybody, and all the sizes in between, and a lot of traditional look, and now stepping out with the X in this
PPX,
more
I
aggressive theme. I think it is great. So
no, and I think I think you'll really like what you see from us this year. I mean, I think we've had some nice introductions. We had some good ones already this year. We have some more coming very soon. And then I think it'll really be a game-changing year for us,
right.
So to say.
Well, I hope so. Everything is changing all around the horn in this regard. So continuing with the chat, our Wags asks if we're planning for a fall event. And I'm starting to ramp up with that thinking again. We've had our timeout event now for quite a number of years. It's been pretty fabulous to bring everybody together. Given that we don't have a Basel world, I'm going to step in the breach and say that we're going to continue anyway at Little Treasury. So tentatively, and underscore that, we are thinking about going on 16th and 17th of October. And it may be a modified event. It may be partially virtual. It may be by time-limited segments only, so many people in the store at a given time. I am putting out the word to our vendors. Please save the date if you're willing. And circumstances are willing, we're going to do something. So that's my answer, 16th and 17th of October. And put that on your calendar, if you will, VJ.
Yes, you told me. So,
but you have some kind of a traveling vehicle or so. What do you have? Tell me about that.
We do. We have we actually have an Airstream. So we took a vintage Airstream, and we made it into a rolling Oris showcase. So we take it to different events and show that around the country, and so we're able to be in places, whether that's some sort of food and wine festival or a boat show or just different places where you may not expect to find the brand. We can show up. The Airstream is people love it because it's very, very vintage, and they like to see it in general. It's also a great spot for us to show off the product. It kind of gives us a nice vibe. It shows it off in a nicely presented way, as opposed to just on a table with a tablecloth or something like that. But it's also very, very cool. So, yeah.
Okay, so right next to the store, we have a wonderful cutout in the parking lot, and sometimes we bring a food truck there. But we've had some displays of some vintage cars in that spot. It's reserved
Yep.
for you, 16th and 17th of
16th
October,
to 7th
by
of October.
popular demand.
Airstream. Okay.
Airstream to Steve. Okay, so all right. So Leon asks, will Oris have more 10-day watches with a dial?
With a dial. Well, we do make a number of them at the moment. So we make
Mm-hmm.
the caliber one, we made 110, which was a limited, but we've made 111, 112,
Mm-hmm.
113, 114, and caliber 115 PPX. So PPX doesn't have the dial, it's a skeleton, but the others do, and they have different functions to them. We're certainly always looking to expand the line and do things, but I think you'll like what you see from us this year. I really do.
Great.
So, without saying anything further.
In the trailer. So I'm going to be on you, my friend. All right. And I think it's perfect for the situation, too, to have a little outdoor element there.
Exactly.
So Triforce Rich asks, what separates Oris the most from the competitors in its price range? If you have to pinpoint one answer to a prospective buyer, what would you hone in on? Thank you for taking the time to answer.
Sure. Happy to answer. I think Oris is, we make a really great product in a reasonable price point. And I think the thing that separates us is really the price value that you get. Nobody has in our price point has an all mechanical, like nobody makes all mechanical watches in our price point.
Mm-hmm.
So we're one of the only, other than some, I'd say, smaller micro brands, right? We're one of the only brands that makes fully mechanical. Our line is entirely mechanical in our price point. But I think what you get from Oris that you may not get from others is you're not paying for celebrity, you're not paying for bling, you're paying for a good product at a reasonable price, and it's serious watchmaking. That's what you're getting from Oris.
Yeah.
So
I agree. Excellent. So we are now still this debate of Maryland, Texas, Florida, California. Leon invites Kyle from California to come over tomorrow. Get a ticket. That would be difficult. Spend a few days in Maryland. There's no baseball happening right now, so no need to stay in Cali. So, Leon, I hope you have a place for Kyle and his crew to stay, and that it's properly fumigated, and you have a lot of masks and gloves and all those other things. So, let us know how it works out on the next show, will you?
we are going to get baseball. Did you hear that? That was an announcement today. It sounds
I didn't hear that. No.
Yeah, we're going to get some baseball. I think starting the 23rd, 24th. So
great.
Okay.
Yeah. So our Wags asks, how much of a premium does one pay for a titanium watch versus stainless steel?
It's not much in the Aquis. In the Aquis line, it's about $100 or $150 for titanium, so a little more than steel, but that's about it. So the PPX obviously is different because it has the in-house movement and that sort of thing. So we don't make a steel version of that, but yeah, I'd say it's not too much, but
right.
It's titanium is titanium, so it's very light. It's very much you don't even feel like you're wearing anything when you wear titanium. But also it allows us to make, whether it's the PPX, whether it's the Pro Diver Chrono 51 millimeters, it's very big. It's just it wears very light, so it's good in that sense. So
okay, great, thank you. So Mr. Q remarks that his dark blue Aquis was too dark. He should have gone with the Baikal blue. Regrets. Well, we have the Baikal blue here. Maybe you can work something out with perhaps trade in toward consignment, something like that. Give me a buzz later and see if we can help you out. Okay. And then back to the geographic debate. Triforce Rich, it turns out that he was in Baltimore when he was a kid. He doesn't remember a thing. I hope you were under 5. Okay. Otherwise, I hope you would remember. And Leon asks, interesting, what about an Oris pocket watch?
But we don't have an Aris pocket watch. Obviously, we made them years ago. We also made alarm clocks. That was one of the things that kept the company going during the Second World War. We made a lot of alarm clocks with 8-day power reserve.
Hmm.
Um, we don't have a pocket watch at the moment in the collection, so it is a
Right.
thought. It's a good thought. So,
Yeah.
yes.
So let's see. Uh, Looks like Kyle is coming tomorrow to Maryland. Okay, you can stop by the showroom too. We'd love to see you in person. And Triforce thinks that he'd like OC. I'm assuming that's Ocean City, Maryland, a lot more than LA. That's questionable, but good try. And Triforce Rich's Little Treasury World incoming. Yes. Okay. So that is, let's see, we got a few more going here. Got behind. Uh, and hang on. Okay, Jonathan Grubb answers Mr. Q fixed his problem, I guess, about the dial color by getting the Aquas Clipperton. Have you seen that dial? That may be out. I'm not sure. Do we have more of those?
No,
Clipperton?
that was a limited edition from a couple years back.
Yeah, I
So,
think we're out.
yeah.
So better stick with the Lake Baikal. And okay, back on baseball. Baseball. Hello, Stephen all and all from Lance Lowengart. Hi, Lance. And Triforce Rich asks, and I'll step aside and let you all say what you have to say. Is Little Treasury the greatest AD you have ever had the pleasure of working with? Well, I can't answer that. You guys can. And
Yes. But Little Treasury does things like this, which not everybody does, and I think it's very nice that they get together and kind of provide content like this for you guys to kind of get together, talk about things, and I think that's what separates you guys from many people. So
yeah,
thank you.
thanks. We have fun doing it, but we've been doing it forever. From oh no,
That's true.
no,
That's true.
not online, but from inception, we've been events,
Yep.
experience before retailing became about experience, long before. So okay. And Triforce says Lance may buy an Oris after this. Well, I certainly hope so. And okay, Triforce answer. Yes, I was under five. It was 3 or 4. I would worry about you if you were over 5. You didn't remember Baltimore, but you're that's okay. And someone's confusing Aquas with squid. Yeah, it's Aquas. And oh, it's autocorrect changed it. That's interesting. Um, and Lance really wants the Aris Aquas Blue dial, but we can help with that. And okay, here's a good one. Are any Oris watches COSC?
There is one. We do have a chronometer in the line, um, and we don't normally certify them because it's more about the cost. It's just adding cost to it. It adds about 300 Swiss francs to the price of the watch, and truly, after it leaves the certification and it's on your wrist and you hit it once, the certification is gone. So we hold the watches to a high standard. We obviously quality is very important to us, but we don't necessarily see the need to cost certify every piece that we have. So that's why we don't do it.
And they'd probably add a couple of $100 to every piece, and
Exactly.
a lot of the deal here is this great price point, and they generally perform within or close to cost specs. So in our experience, so okay. And Carlos, he's from Panama, tried some Oris pointer date versions and really had good feelings about them. You have to. They're really friendly style watches. Very nice.
Very
And
iconic Oris
right,
pieces.
yep, they are. And in a variety of sizes, so you
Yeah.
can definitely get fit with anyone. Uh, let's see.
I should show you one of the new pieces. I have the Momotaro here.
Oh,
If
we didn't
people
talk
haven't
about
seen it.
that. Yeah, tell them about
Yeah.
the moment. What's that about?
So Momotaro, they are a Japanese denim company. So for those of you who don't know much about denim, actually Japan is one of the really um, epicenters of, not to use that word, but um,
Yeah.
of denim culture. Much after, American GIs were in the country after World War II, brought their denim jeans, and vintage denim was very much a thing in Japan, and then a sort of a whole subculture rose around that. Momotaro, the company itself, has been around since 1992. And we found them and we connected with them because we found them to be, their family run. They use the old looms to make the denim still in the old style. And it's a family run business, and their mantra for product is quality without compromise, very much like our mantra. So we made this piece, the Momotaro limited edition that you see. So it actually comes in a denim case. This is a Momotaro denim case. It has their battle stripes on it. That's a symbol of their product. It's on all of their jeans. It's on all of their jackets. What you see, but the pouch is really nice. It opens. It's made. This is handmade by them, and then the watch itself. It's a Diver 65 with a mint green dial, if you can see that, bronze top ring on a denim strap.
Very
So
cool.
it's a really cool watch.
Yeah.
It's a
But when are
really
we getting ours, by the
cool
way?
combination. You should have it shortly.
Yeah. What's
So
shortly mean?
yeah, you should have it shortly.
Everybody's saying shortly.
We ordered it the other day,
Yeah.
did we not?
Yes, we
So
did. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
so
So
you should see it very soon.
it'll be
So
here in Little Treasury in a
yeah,
Jice. So
and it comes with a little wallet pouch. It's a very nice product. So, but yeah, so
okay. So great comment from Carlos. We love Little Treasury, and Carlos, Little Treasury loves you. So, and we're talking about age of people, younger, older, and oh, I guess Leon answering about does he like Little Treasury? I don't know. Ethan could not get me a spring drive tuna. Yes, I guess Little Treasury is a great place to buy a watch. Well, maybe you should talk to Steve, Leon. Maybe he can get you one. We'll see. Uh, okay. And uh, talking about the Jonathan following up, he has some of his Oris watches up on his Instagram, and it's watch it captain, watch underscore it underscore captain. Take a look. Jonathan's a pretty good photographer and does some nice on wrist shots. So, and
I'll have to check that out.
yeah, and someone's got to go. Oris question comment from Mr. Q. I had a hard time trying to turn the screws on the bracelet of my Aquas. Is some adhesive used on those?
Yes, there is some Loctite that's put on some of those to keep the screws tight down. So yes, there is some that does happen. So
And then to loosen that, you can use a little bit of heat, or is that not
yep,
recommended?
no, that is true. A
In,
little bit of heat
in
will
what
do
form of heat?
that. Well, that's not necessarily. I've heard different people do different things.
All right, so
I couldn't-
you're going to back off of that
I'm
one.
gonna pass on that one
Okay. Yeah,
for reasons.
yeah.
But
Bring it to us. We'll undo it
yeah.
for you. Okay. And Triforce Rich, who's on top of everything fashionable, says he's heard very good things about that denim brand. Well, good.
Nice.
Okay. And Kyle Jett is swearing off marriages in a statement here. Okay. Uh, I've noticed, this is Gipu says, I've noticed some retailers market the pointer date 36 millimeter as a woman's watch. It's a shame because it can work for both sexes. Absolutely true. Yeah.
We actually make it a point not to market it that way because we just call it, it's just the size We just market them by size, not by men's or ladies, because everybody has different tastes and wrist sizes and things like that. So it's certainly.
Yeah. So, and a lot of people are moving down in size. That's for sure. It's a definite trend
Certainly.
we're seeing here in the store. So it's a nice little watch. Okay. We're getting into divorce and stay out of that. And okay, on the heating issue, Mr. Q says warm water worked for him. Hopefully not in your hot tub, but just maybe a little warm water over it. And yeah, so that's what's going on. So uh, and I think we've pretty much covered the territory. If anybody has any further questions or comments for BJ, now's the time to get them on the table. Otherwise, it's going to be close to dinner time. Little Treasury has closed during this. Our hours are earlier during this recovery period. So I'm sitting here in a dark store and need to scoot myself. And so that's it. So, VJ, I'm going to let you go.
All right.
You've been excellent. Make sure
Thank
that
you.
the trailer is tuned up and road
Ready to
ready
go.
for October
Yeah.
16th and 17th. Not to put you on the spot, but I want to put you in my parking lot.
Okay. And
All
you
right.
put me in the parking spot,
Right,
right?
right. Yeah, I'm reserving it already. So that's it.
So thank
So
you very
you can
much.
sign.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much for having me, and thank you for your time, and thank you
Excellent.
everybody for
Yeah,
your questions.
yeah.
So,
We really
all right.
appreciate it. Okay, you take
Anytime.
care.
All
Yeah,
right. Take
bye
care, you
bye.
too.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
So, all right. I'll get back online here. And, okay. Oh, now the questions come and he's gone. We'll have to have him back on. Um, so, Leon, I don't know the answer about the Oris 1917. And favorite non-Oris watch. I'm not sure who that is. That maybe is to the people watching now. And huh, if I take an Oris professional diving, and the watch leaks, will Oris replace my watch if it is under warranty? Depends upon how deep you go, I would say, Rich. Um, and Kyle hopes to see VJ in October at Little Treasury. I think so. I think he's going to make it. And okay, Bree is in house. Hi, how are you? Okay, I am going to. Ooh, just got a funny little noise. I don't know where that came from. I am going to show you something. It just came in, and don't tell VJ, but I'm switching brands. And so we've been waiting a bit for the last of the Grand Seiko 60th anniversary pieces, the SBGP 015 just came in, and it is a beauty. And it's a limited edition, and it has the blue dial with red accent, or secondhand rather, that we've seen in some of the other pieces for the 60th anniversary. And that is a ceramic bezel and a beautiful chiseled case with sort of the a modified or toned down lion's tooth appearance. I think it's a real winner. It's a terrific piece, just in, and let me get it in better light. There we go. So things are starting to roll from the brands. It's a little bit fits and starts, but we're starting to get things in for the season, and this is a beauty. So if you're interested, let us know. Okay. And Triforce is back on his replacement If we push the 200-meter watch to its limits, around 180 meters, and the watch craps out, would it be replaced? It would at least be serviced. It depends on what happens to it, and depends upon what craps out means. I'm sure, if not Oris, Little Treasury would take care of you. Okay. And Carlos remarks, if that's the case, probably would need to replace you before the watch. That's probably true. And put it on the screen. Put what on the screen? And who approved Craig's vacation? I thought both houses of Congress had to vote on that. Yeah. Okay. All right. Humans can go down so low. Carlos, don't underestimate my ability to nearly kill myself. Um, and Jonathan, any SPB 151s in yet? No, sir. We will keep you posted. So I think we're getting to that point of diminishing returns. And as I said, I need to exit the building and go home, have myself a nice martini or something, and cool out. Okay, so I'm going to get out of here. And the watch you have, it wasn't on the screen. Okay, I'm gonna get into the sign-off zone. And thank you all for watching. I hope you had a good time.